The Scream Kings are in no way responsible for any encounters with the paranormal, extraterrestrial abductions, eldritch insanity, hauntings, hexes, curses, demonic possessions, cryptozoological sightings, or any loss of sleep from listening to this podcast.
This is the Scream Kings podcast. I'm Max George.
I'm Nathaniel Durkish.
I'm NJ Gallegos.
This is the podcast. You are the Matrix. Everything comes from you. Everything is you. This is simply a better version of yourself. You just have to share.
You gotta pump it up and you better pump it up. Yes!
Wow, the drama, and then it all went away. Thanks, MJ. That's going to be my acting reel, is the drama, and then it will just cut to you.
That was really good, though.
No, yours was better.
No, come on.
Guys, we're back. It's been so long. Listeners,
Yes.
We are not dead.
Yet.
Maybe we are, and I just finally made necromancy happen.
This would explain the hell that we're in if we were dead.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's not go there, NJ. We are less than 2 minutes in.
What is death?
What's the meaning of life?
Have you ever thought about death?
Hey, Barbie.
Who's the president of the United States?
Oh my god. I envy my dementia patients because I ask and they're like, Gerald Ford! I'm like, I wish, honey.
That is the first time I have ever heard someone say, I envy my dementia patients. Jesus.
Being someone who's written a horror novel about dementia, yeah, what the crap.
You have to look on the bright side, guys.
Always look on the... Okay, we're gonna get sued by, several musical things.
And the dementia people, if they remember.
Sorry, I'm still looking for the bright side. Where is it?
I forgot.
Because you're a dementia patient. Oh my goodness, everyone, we are chaos today, and you just have to deal with it, because it's been a while since the three of us have been together, because life sucks.
Yeah, it's a lot sometimes. A lot of times in a good way, but still, it's a lot.
Yeah. A bummer sometimes, I might say.
Yeah, I know, Nathaniel, you've been swamped with work. NJ,
Yep.
You went on a vacation, so way to go.
Yeah, it was pretty great. We saw the Grand Canyon. We did not see Sasquatch, which I was quite disappointed with, but whatever.
Okay, but that is not anywhere near Sasquatch.
I
country.
don't understand geography, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay, I'm just gonna let that go. And I've been dealing with a lot of personal crap, so everyone listening who have returned or, whatever, thank you for your patience, because we've been MIA. And that's okay. Life happens. Shit happens. As the book on my daughter's bookcase says, everybody poops.
That, of course, is the classic book Huckleberry Finn.
It is another way to say shit happens.
Oh my god, I've missed you so much.
Oh, here I am.
Embrace me.
To be fair, you were calling out all my gayness not 5 minutes ago, so let's go.
You were talking about defying gravity, and I heard you sobbing, so I'm just saying.
Okay, fair. Whatever. Let's talk about horror movies.
Yes, we are talking The Substance today, which appropriately is, the Oscars are happening right now as we are recording, and this is an Oscar award-winning movie currently for the best. What is it? Is it makeup and hairstyling? I think is the exact way that they phrase that particular Oscar.
I thought it was. Oh wait, you're talking about the win.
Yes, so it is an Oscar award-winning movie for best makeup and hairstyling, but it's currently up for a few other things that we don't know the results for. So we'll see there while we are recording.
Do you guys
the anticipation? Yes.
Can I be real?
Mm-hmm.
It is like top 3 bucket list things for me to get so fucking fancy, go to the Oscars, even if I'm in the nosebleeds, and just watch it all happen. Wouldn't that be amazing?
What would you wear?
Oh, something.
No. Who would you wear?
Ah, yes. Thank you, Nathaniel. It's because she's a lesbian. It's fine.
I'd wear a flannel.
I'd want something sparkly. There may or may not be a blue sequined suit coat in my Amazon wish list that has just been there for like 8 years because I don't think I'd ever actually wear it unless I went to the Oscars. So it's coming, everyone.
You have to manifest. You have to buy that blue sequined suit jacket, and then the Oscars will come.
Brooches are really in too right now, so maybe blue sequined jacket with like a dinner plate sized pentagram that I can wear, like a silver pentagram on my blazer. I think that is what needs to happen.
But you said it's dinner plate sized?
Yeah, it's huge. I want to hurt.
So what I'm hearing is that you're going to look like Flava Flav.
No.
Yeah, boy.
No. I'm going to look classy AF because brooches are in, Nathaniel.
We haven't been keeping up with Teen Vogue, sorry.
I know. You're one person's straight and the other person's a lesbian, so flannel and corduroy only go so far.
Take that back. I haven't worn corduroy in years. Since I was like 5.
But let's bring it back. Corduroy. Comfy.
Nah.
I don't know. It feels gross.
Yeah, don't like it.
You both feel gross.
Oh.
Good.
All right, now that we know how we feel, where do we go from here?
So this movie was directed and written by Coralie Fargiat? I have no idea how to pronounce that last name.
I am so glad you said it, Nathaniel.
I know.
I did not read it the first time I saw this as Fargiat. You know what I read in my brain.
Yeah, same.
Farjo, maybe? Farja?
I have no earthly idea.
Coralie?
Yeah. We really
Sounds
probably
fancy.
should know this because this might be, an Oscar award winner in a few minutes. Who knows?
If you're listening, be on our podcast and correct us, please.
Yes, tell us how wrong we are, make fun of us. But yeah, as mentioned, this is a movie that was nominated for 5 Oscars: Best Picture, Best Director, Original Screenplay, Actress, Makeup and Hairstyling, which I mentioned. It did win Makeup and Hairstyling. I know that it didn't win Original Screenplay, but those other 3 have not been yet announced at this exact moment that we are recording at. So it could be multiple award winner. We'll see. Oh wait, no, it did not win Best Actor or Best Director. That one got announced and actor. So okay, so now it's just actress and picture.
Now what are we even doing?
I don't know, but anyway, so this is a wild movie. Do any of us want to make an attempt to describe this insanity?
I vote NJ because she's a woman, I guess.
That's what they say.
Yikes.
Feminism?
Because America only has 2 genders now, people.
And I'm the F one.
You are. Yeah, NJ, I would love to hear your rendition of this film, mostly because it's so bonkers and I want to watch you fall.
Fly high, Icarus, fly high.
Done. The substance. Aging aerobics instructor Elizabeth Sparkle.
Pause. I thought you were just gonna, like, sentence by sentence. The substance. Aging aerobics.
Aging.
Vaccinations. Linoleum.
Really gross shrimp.
Demi
that
Moore.
shrimp.
Sorry.
Anyway.
Keep going.
Elizabeth Sparkle, aging aerobics instructor, is pushed out of the spotlight and finds a mysterious elixir called the substance that turns her into Sue. But you are one. And shit goes off the rails, guys. Everything is chaos because she didn't follow the rules. And that is the most important thing with any sort of medication, is that you follow the rules and you take all of your antibiotic, okay?
All 10 days, damn it.
Not 7, not 6, all 10, okay?
All 10 days.
Or what happens at the end of the substance could happen to you.
You can grow an alter persona and it will crawl out of your back and say, damn it, Judy, you did not take her amoxicillin. Here I am.
And that's the substance.
Okay, but for real, that is kind of what happens, right? Demi Moore does not take the medication how she should. So we have this younger incarnation, maybe? Iteration? Like, hatch? What's the right word for this?
Emerge.
Yeah.
Emerge. And it's like every 7 days, right?
Yeah.
So Demi exists for 7 days, and then this beautiful,
Sue.
younger version of herself, Sue, emerges for 7 days. And clearly we know where this is going between the two. Demi's old, she's 50, her hips hurt. Sue has great boobs and a great ass. Her hips do not hurt. Who is gonna win?
But they're the same person. That's important to remember.
But are they? We'll talk about it later.
Yes and no, I think.
I don't know. I was confused a little.
We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later, guys.
I think it's important to note that, like, 3/4 of this film is very much body horror, where I think the strengths lie. We see Demi Moore, we see Sue. I'm so sorry, Margaret Qualley,
I think.
That's Sue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The body horror and just like the fucking body dysmorphia kind of plot that is running throughout this entire film is very uncomfortable, and I think resonates with a lot of people. I don't know. What do you two think?
Yeah. Should we hit on kind of the remaining plot points before we dive fully into what it's doing with the body horror? Because I agree, that is definitely like the strongest point of this.
I mean, yes, good luck.
Here.
The rest of the story is wild. So
Okay. I'll try to tackle it. I got this. All right. So what we have is a situation where Elizabeth, Demi Moore's character, and Sue, Margaret Qualley's character, they need to basically switch back and forth every 7 days. Sue has a new fitness TV show. She's being successful and is already the hot commodity in Hollywood, I guess. But she wants to take more and more time of the, because it's supposed to be exactly 7 days. She's wants to take more and more time as Sue, and eventually begins to drain this like spinal fluid from her other half, from Elizabeth, in order to continue to sustain herself. And so whenever she does go back to the Elizabeth body, it becomes increasingly grotesque, aged. It's falling apart. The first time we see it, it's with a finger, but then as she begins taking very liberally, she's basically a horrifying crone. After I think basically like a solid month or two of being Sue basically all the time. Ultimately, this causes Elizabeth to try to pull a plug on this whole thing. She calls the people who send her the substance and says, I want to stop. And they send her a thing that will allow her to kill Sue and just be herself. But, again, she's going to be the old crone version of herself. And then while doing that, she hesitates and tries to keep Sue alive. She pulls back at the last minute, and then ultimately kind of creates both of them being aware at the same time. And they literally fight it out, and Sue smashes Elizabeth's face in, goes to do this like New Year's spectacular thing, but then immediately, like while getting ready, starts to fall apart. Her teeth start falling out, and her ear like falls off, and all sorts of weird, gross things. And then she remembers, hey, I still have a little bit of the original substance. I could try to make another newer version of me. And then when she does that, what emerges instead is this horrifying, like, Tromo movie monstrosity that then shows up at the New Year's show and literally just, like, explodes blood everywhere. And that's the substance.
Yeah, this is no fault on you. You were doing so good, and then the ending happens. And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, the end is a bit much. But we'll get there.
Yeah. It's a lot. I recognize why it's up for so many awards, because this film is actually pretty spectacular as far as, like, the plot is really relevant, and I think the visual effects are really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It does a very good job until the end. As you would famously say, Nathaniel, it poops the bed.
Yep. I agree.
So let's maybe dive into the good things that this movie brings to us as far as horror goes, because I do think it's pretty innovative as far as horror goes. It has, and this might be controversial, it has the Thing energy to me in some capacity.
I can see that, especially with the way that things kind of go off the rails with the body horror.
Yeah, not so much like, I mean, the Thing is perfect, let's be honest. The tension that it creates with the body horror, too, I think really harkens back to that kind of, you don't know what's going to happen next. And I think that's why this horror movie does really well, especially like spinal fluid. We don't ever talk about spinal fluid. Gross.
Speak for yourself. I talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what
us normies who aren't working in the ER.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
But you guys know what I mean. It takes something like out of the box and puts it into the box, so to speak. And maybe that's what I'm trying to get at with the Thing of, it's a whodunit, but we know who's doing it, but we don't know how or why they're doing it, to some capacity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. NJ, what did you think? Because I think this is a man. I'm not a straight man. When I watched this, I really resonated with a few friends that I have who really have suffered through body dysmorphia and like anorexia, bulimia, that kind of world and mental health. And so I am very curious to get a female perspective on it.
Yeah, so I think it's a very good commentary about how women are valued for their looks and their youth. And essentially, the pressure there is to keep up with that. And I mean, we have trillion-dollar industries devoted to it, like aesthetics, vitamin infusion, supplements, plastic surgery, all that. And how much, whether you realize it or not, you tie your worth into how you look on the outside. We're bombarded with it from infancy.
Agreed, yeah.
So yeah, I resonated with it, especially, I mean, I'm not going to betray my age on the podcast, but I do have a few gray hairs that are concerning me. And it's a little bit difficult to come to terms with the fact that, yeah, we're going to age and we are going to die.
So I guess my question is kind of adjacent to that. Sure, we're all going to age and die and be decrepit. But I sometimes feel like as a, cis man, I don't have to worry about that as much. Do you think this film kind of tackled the opposite?
I think so. And even kind of in that vein, when they show, Harvey, the producer, agent, whatever, who's absolutely disgusting. Like, it's okay for him not to be quote unquote perfect, right? He has brown, kind of gross teeth. He has wrinkles.
But he's forcing someone else to be perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And he said it perfectly. What did he say? Pretty girls always smile.
Ugh.
Yeah. That made me gag audibly.
Apologies, I have to go change my pants because they are ruined. Nathaniel, I kind of also want to hear your side of it, being, straight. Me and NJ are part of the LGBTQIA, so sometimes we're marginalized and perhaps we take a different perspective. So
yeah,
what are your thoughts in this regard?
I think it does a really good job of showing, how toxic masculinity really is. I think that was very valuable to show so clearly, that sending a clear message like that is not helpful. That is, in fact, actively making the world worse. And sorry, I had to collect my thoughts. I feel like the ways that it's kind of bringing in this story, it does a really good job of kind of showing how it's not even just that it's younger and more beautiful, like that's part of it, but it's also like the vitality, right? The and the attention and the everything else. It's not that it's just that she becomes young and beautiful, or even that other guy who becomes the young handsome version of himself, but that they are have kind of the natural charisma. People, they're the center of attention. People like them. Yeah, vivacious. And so even if someone is less concerned more with their looks, I think people should be able to relate to that. Hey, what if I had all the energy in the world? What if I had people actually really listen to me? It's kind of it's going to check on some boxes for just about anybody, which I thought was a smart move. That it wasn't just oh, she's so pretty all the time. It was really more multifaceted than that. And I think for me, I don't care personally as much about being, the super, young, handsome version of myself, but like, having people be, actually like really listening to me and stuff would be fantastic, and not just because teenagers like to ignore me when I'm trying to teach them about Frankenstein.
So I'm gonna postulate something, and I'm not disagreeing.
Yeah.
Do you think, had she been ugly as a young woman, but still had that vivaciousness, the story would have held?
Maybe.
Really?
It would take some significant changes.
Because I think if she wasn't so beautiful, which to me that's what the movie was trying to like display, is sure the youth, we have the Adonis youth, we have all of this energy, but for me, how I interpreted it is, yes, you have that energy, but you're also hot.
Oh yeah, I mean absolutely. I just think that even if I personally am not relating to the hot side of it, I think
for sure, yeah,
the appeal of some of the other elements that come with that make it more universal. Even for people who are less drawn to that as their experience.
I just think it would be two different movies if we had
yes.
Sue looking like Sue, or we had Nanny McPhee, who was, 15 and ready to jazzercise with everyone, And again, it goes into this Hollywood setting, I think, too.
Yeah.
They want the perfection rather than the vivaciousness.
Yes. I agree completely. I think it would have had to have been tackling some different themes, but I think there is a version of that could work, but it would be difficult to pull off.
Yeah, a different movie.
Yeah.
NJ, again, we are two white men. Please, tell us what is what. Because again, our frame of reference, right, is so different. I think it's important that we hear your voice about these topics.
I like that. Thank you. You stop it. Anyway.
You're welcome, lesbian.
Yeah.
Everyone, I love NJ and she's amazing, and just because we joke about her queerness does not reflect any attitudes about this podcast. I feel like we have to say that these days.
There needs to be at least like 6 disclaimers with this podcast.
Oh my god. Anyway, sorry.
Where were we? Now I have forgotten. Well, I mean, we could, shift to, some of just the other things that we really liked about this movie, because I think, it's going to kind of bring in other elements of the themes pretty well as well. For example, I loved the performances. Like, here, I'm going to start with the lesser performances, the side characters. Even though, like, all the side characters, Dennis Quaid in particular, were very cartoonish, oh man, you loved to hate them, though. Or just, really, I don't know, they all did a really good job of kind of capturing that kind of character that they were supposed to be playing. Yeah, Dennis Quaid was so disgusting in the best possible way.
I think that was the intent, too, right? Like,
yeah,
this cartoon of the straight emasculated male who has to somehow belittle others to feel good. I agree. The minor characters were perfect because they weren't perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about, too, when he was eating those shrimp? Like, I didn't realize how much I hated chewing like that. Like, I mean, I knew, but, like, now I really know. Blech.
Have either of you had shrimp since that moment?
Yes, I had shrimp earlier tonight.
Did you think of Dennis Quaid and his incisors chomping through shrimp flesh?
Honestly, a little bit, yes, but it did help that it was already like pre-peeled shrimp. That made it much more palatable.
Yeah, I agree, because that whole scene,
It rivals with the body horror, honestly.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. I found, so kind of going back, one of my favorite scenes of the movie is the very beginning, where it shows Elizabeth Sparkle, Demi Moore's star, getting placed. And, at first everybody's going and taking pictures with it and talking about how wonderful she is. And then it shows how she's slowly forgotten as she ages. To the point where I think somebody just drops like French fries and ketchup and smears it everywhere. It's cracked and it's dirty. And nobody knows who she is.
Well, and then there's that scene where she like drives by her billboard, right? They're covering it up.
Yep. I feel like they did a really good job showing,
Yeah. Like, kind of the cracks in her self-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Her identity. And I think that speaks to a bigger theme too, is just this movie is very visual. We have the body horror, we have, the spooky ooky aspects of it all, but it's just filmed very smart. I think they had a very good intention with a lot of the scenes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I like their use of color, like very vibrant, striking colors.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing looks like it doesn't belong in our world. It looks like in the world of ads, of the world of, this
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the facade of Hollywood. But like that's their real world, is that facade.
And going back a little to the actors, Dennis Quaid and the supporting characters, we have to give credit to Demi fucking Moore. She rocked it.
Mm-hmm.
Both young version and then crone, hair falling out, hunchback, gross, hag from Dungeons and Dragons energy. Demi, that was incredible, and she won awards for that, and those are very well deserved. Also, Margaret Qualley, again, Margaret, if you're listening, come on to our podcast so you can tell us how to pronounce it.
Call me.
She was phenomenal. I don't know if I've seen her in a lot of stuff, if anything, and her energy was just, I hated her, but I loved to hate her.
Can we talk about how Elizabeth Sparkle, she's like aerobics, like what, 1980s aerobics?
Mm-hmm.
And then Sue is like getting crunk, twerking, like it is
TikTok aerobics.
Yes. Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, there's so much to say there. Holy cow.
Kind of riffing off of that, I loved the soundtrack. I thought it was amazing, but I'm kind of an EDM techno head. And at the end, one shining part of the ending, which we will get to later, when they played the beginning part of that Space Odyssey, the dun 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 dun, I thought I did pretty good.
I'm sorry, keep going.
I'm done.
I don't know what song that is. Can you play a little more?
I'm sure it has an actual name, but I know it from like Looney Tunes and that.
Nathaniel, you're up. I don't know what to say.
I agree that the soundtrack was very effective, but I really just wanted it to play "Pump Up the Jam."
Pump up the jam, pump it up.
But that might just be because I've watched way too much. Is it Crunk or the world of according to Crunk something? Anyway, you want to talk about?
No.
Like the Emperor's New Groove?
Kunk.
Oh, Kunk. C-U-N-K?
Yeah, there. Kunk on Earth. There we go. My brain is
okay,
hemorrhaging.
To be fair, there's a whole side of TikTok where it's like, pump up the jam, pump it up. with people dancing. So my Nathaniel is on that side of TikTok.
No, I don't even have that. But Kunk on Earth though. Okay, have not, either of you watched Kunk on Earth?
No.
Yes. Kunk on Earth, bless her heart. She is good for 30-second TikToks. Watching an entire 30-minute episode of them, that's hard. Yeah, it is hard.
Oh man, I laugh hysterically the whole time. No, but
I get bored.
it's so funny.
For 30 seconds.
I highly disagree. I could watch hours of that content. I've listened to a whole Kunk audiobook.
Oh, Lord.
It was
you
amazing.
You are a better man than I am.
Yes. But anyway.
Wow! What?
Well, duh. You said it, not me. You said it, not me.
The gays need help. Where are you?
I'm still trying to figure out Kunk. Like, what? Like, what?
Okay, so basically it's a character, her name is Philomena Kunk. And she goes and, does documentaries but basically it's like if the person doing the, interviewing these experts and stuff for documentaries, say about medieval history or whatever, she's talking to a real, brilliant, one of the world's best scholars on medieval history, and she's asking them the stupidest questions you've ever heard in your entire life.
And I think it's her personality and just there's a whole vibe there that's hard to describe, which makes her special.
I'll send you some videos.
Okay,
it's incredible.
Yeah, you're gonna send her videos, so clips of video.
I'll send the entire Netflix episodes. Out of spite.
Got ya. Let's keep talking about the substance.
Oh, but now I just want to talk about Kunk.
This is chaos.
We haven't had chaos in a while, guys.
No, I'm loving it.
We've had special guests, but this is pure Scream Kings right here.
Yes.
Full frontal Scream Kings.
Full Merkin Scream Kings here, folks.
Speak for yourself, lesbian.
Come on. Didn't you see Elizabeth Sparkles and Suze Merkins? Because I sure did.
Okay, yeah, you're right. And we're actually talking about the movie now.
See? Thank you. I'm bringing it full circle.
So I want to talk about this as Jekyll and Hyde.
No, we're talking about Merkins, Nathaniel.
It relates. Hyde is hairy.
Don't bring this back to philosophy. We're talking about pubic hair.
Wigs.
Fake pubic hair.
But I'll play, Nathaniel. Do you think that Jekyll's carpet matches the drapes?
Jesus Christ.
I'm helping. It's a callback. Look it up. It's a showbiz thing.
I have to take a giggle break, everyone. I'm going to disappear while these two talk about Jekyll and Hyde.
I imagine it is actually like more wiry and stuff up top, and then weirdly like
conditioned.
Yeah,
like really nice.
Yeah,
I can see it.
I come back and I hear wiry and conditioned. Okay, let's all take a breath. Let's recognize that Merkins are real.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is that they're really not real. That's the point of them.
Shut up. Okay, but also Jekyll and Hyde. I agree with you, but you have to keep talking because I'm having a giggle fit over here.
Yes. So Jekyll and Hyde, I just found it to be this really interesting variant on the Jekyll and Hyde thing, where the thing hiding inside the mild mannered and sweet doctor is this monster Hyde, I kind of reversed that, and I thought that was kind of interesting that, that she thought of herself as this monster, this, ugly thing, and then, had this beautiful thing come out, but but they're both her, just like with Jekyll and Hyde, and I think that's, kind of the key idea there is that, at the end of the day, they're both the same person. That all of the monstrous things that, she does as Sue, or that Jekyll does as Hyde, it's still 100%, Elizabeth or Henry Jekyll. I think that's interesting and worth exploring, and it's the same thing that makes it almost a werewolf narrative. So anyway,
I like that. I like it, you little English man.
I mean, I did recently teach a lesson about Jekyll and Hyde to my horror lit class, so that it was top of mind.
That class sounds really cool.
It is delightful.
I know what we did touch on this, but I'd like to circle back to the body horror.
Mm-hmm.
So even, as a doctor, some of the things like the injections, the pulling out the spinal fluid and, reinserting it. And then whenever Sue sews up Elizabeth Sparkle's back, it just is very disturbing. It even grossed me out, and that doesn't usually get me.
So two things. One, yes, body horror for this film. If you want to see something disgusting, yes. Two, NJ, how long of a needle would you have to use on yourself to get cerebral spinal fluid?
It's actually not that long. And the needle that she uses in there, the gauge is way bigger than what we actually probably use. We use an 18 gauge. So that's similar to a catheter that you would put in your arm. And I think a spinal needle is maybe 2 inches.
Yeah, okay, so not as dramatic.
No, I mean, obviously if you have more adipose tissue, you're going to have to go deeper. Yeah. So there's longer ones. I will also point out that she is going way too superior if you're doing a spinal tap, because that is right where your spinal cord is. But I also am not sure if that's spinal fluid or if that's, I don't know, the feed or something circulating through her vessels.
Gotcha. I mean, so maybe explain spinal taps in general, because they're not easy to do, right? You have to get in between the vertebra.
Well, so it's a band. They're all obsessed with going to 11.
Nathaniel, if I were there, I would just playfully slap you.
Excellent.
I have been trying so hard for the last 90 seconds not to giggle, and you ruined it. Yeah, so please describe the scientifics to us, Dr. NJ.
The spinal tap.
Well, you see, 11 is louder than 10.
11's a state of mind, really.
Yes, but 10 does not exist.
So, a spinal tap. We typically do it to diagnose meningitis. That's usually the biggest reason we would do it. But essentially your spinal cord goes all the way down until about your second lumbar vertebrae, so your lower back. And then after that, it kind of spreads out into the cauda, which is we call it horse's hair. So that's where you would insert the needle between the vertebra, and it kind of parts the cauda. So you're not actually touching spinal cord. So if you go too high, you're piercing your spinal cord and you're going to cause paralysis. So you don't want to do that.
This is just me nerding out. Cauda equina, right? Is that the term?
So yes.
Okay, that's just, from my anatomy days when I used to be straight and was taking notes with my girlfriend at the time.
So cauda equina, you can actually, it's like a syndrome too. So yeah, the cauda equina, which is it's the horse's tail. So yes, you're right, but we often refer to it as like the syndrome that we would get very worried about. So you like piss yourself, poo yourself, can't feel your groin. It's not good.
Yikes. So I'm gonna go here. I probably know the answer, but like something like the substance that has to be injected into your spinal fluid.
I mean, it's like an epidural.
Okay,
Really?
that's a good point. Okay, well, you answered it, and I didn't know that, so here we are.
The more you know. Picture the little shooting star.
I love it. We've all had an anatomy 1010 class.
Nope.
You can cash your credits in at any university that is local to you.
They're like, what is this shit?
I listened to a podcast. I get 3 credits.
You know what nonsense I had to wade through to get to that?
Merkins,
Wow.
people, Merkins.
Anything else we need to say about the show as far as positive remarks go? We've been making a lot of jokes because because we haven't talked to each other in forever, but also it's just a fucking good movie. So, there's not a ton to talk about. Just it delivers. It delivers really well.
Except for that
What?
end.
Okay. Yeah, the poop in the bed. We haven't washed the sheets yet.
We're getting there. We're getting there. I thought one thing I did want to bring up is I thought that it did a very good job of. I mean, there's a lot of like very male gazy shots because like it's Hollywood. It's trying to show that that's what's seen and valued. But like whenever Elizabeth Sparkle is looking at herself naked in the mirror, like I mean, objectively, she's still very gorgeous. Like she looks amazing. And I thought that it did a very good job portraying the like natural beauty of women.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Not to say I didn't like the pump it up part, because I did quite a bit.
Gay! Nathaniel, did you? Because I was about to say straight!
It's just not my particular itch being scratched.
It had that guy's butt, too. What did you think of that?
I mean, who doesn't love a butt? Gay, straight, queer?
It was a nice butt.
Butts are butts.
Yeah,
B-A-B.
very bubbly. It was bubbly. Like he did squats.
B-A-B. Butts are butts. That's our new shirt. If you go to screamkings.com, you can buy.
I'll let you make the design on that one.
I don't know if you want to. Yeah, like I said, this movie is pretty stellar. I don't know, you two, as far as movies go, I know we're going to talk about the bad, but would you rewatch this? Would you show it to people? Would you recommend it to people?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same. It is a candidate for my yearly horror movie marathon, so if that's saying anything. Not that it is, but I just said it. So, fuck everybody. Okay, let's talk about the bad, because the bad is more fun, even though we've had like 4 hoots already about the good.
Yeah.
The ending, guys. The ending.
Yeah. So should we talk about where it should have ended versus where it actually ended?
Yes. Before that, I think I maybe just want to say, like, the 3/4 of the movie that we've been talking about are very poignant, very relevant. The body horror is relevant. It doesn't feel contrived. it feels controlled, and it has this like direction that you expect to go one way, especially as horror critics. And I don't know, the ending to me made all of that feel cheap. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good way to put it.
It was so forthright in its execution that when it had to end, it really bummed me out. It could have gone somewhere, and it just didn't.
Yeah.
Where would you have chosen to end it?
To me, I think the point that the story felt complete to me was just when we had the fight to the death between the two sides. Sue bashing Elizabeth's face in, and then having some sort of indication that she then starts to fall apart. That's all I needed. That to me is a really solid ending. But then going full like Monstro stuff, it felt like the conclusion of the character arc, the themes, the duality, all of that had been wrapped up in a nice bow, and now it was time to just randomly turn into like Toxic Avenger for the last 15 minutes.
Yes.
Well, it went from body horror to creature feature, like,
but
out of nowhere.
But like promo creature feature.
Yeah. It reminded me of the first Smile, where you have this really compelling story that they're telling, and then right at the last minute, they're like, "Oh, it's some monster who's gonna get ya," and they got ya. For me, I'm a bit more nihilistic, I think, Nathaniel and NJ, and content warning, I guess. To me, the premise of the show was self-acceptance and like moving through your age and vitality. And so the conflict between the two, I think it would have been really compelling to take the monster out of it and suicide. That she can't do it anymore. And so either Demi Moore or Margaret ends it. I think it would have been Demi because she's seeing, her younger self being celebrated. And then essentially Margaret doesn't have any agency, right? Demi is the one making the decisions. She's the one who did the substance. And so once Demi got hold of everything, I think suicide would have been a very dark but poignant summary to what the movie was trying to say.
Or along those lines, I think it would have been interesting if it was the suicide committing suicide. Ooh, that had a nice
Ooh.
back to it.
Suicide.
Yes. I mean, especially like if it had been done, at the New Year's show or whatever.
Yeah,
that could have been really interesting because it's just like, oh, you think I'm beautiful, you think that this is all that matters. Well, this is who I really am, and then just I don't know, somehow aging into oblivion, like with the black goo.
The Terminator.
Yeah, but if that had just like taken all of the aging all at once or something, I don't know, that could have been kind of cool.
Flipping it though too, like Sue is this at the peak of her performance, whatever, and then it cuts to Demi Moore. I'm sorry, I can't remember the character's name.
Elizabeth.
Thank you. Like just wallowing in her depression because she's not who Sue is. And just saying, well, if Sue can have it, but I can't, no one's gonna have it.
And then they both drop.
Yeah. That got dark.
It did.
But yeah, I think that would have been a much more satisfying way to approach the ending.
You mean the goo monster that fused between the two of them that tried to attack and, become... Oh my god, what even was that?
I got a little bit. I was like, all right, they lost me when she belched out the boob on the umbilical cord.
Yeah, that was a bit much.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Barbarian. You have both seen Barbarian, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Which
So
I similarly really liked until I didn't.
yeah, like incredible plot, very unsettling. You go to this Airbnb and they have these two separate stories that interject, and it's really spooky, and you're not sure what's going on until you're suckling milk out of this Airbnb mommy. It's like, I don't know, so far out.
Do you think they listed that on the Airbnb? Airbnb mommy.
To suckle.
To suckle.
Oh my God. You guys know the scene.
Yes.
You
I know. I know.
With the, like, booby hair.
Yes. We're aware.
Do I need to describe it more?
No. Stop it.
But that is how I felt with this. Like, the plot, the story, everything just felt so right. And then they just fucked it up.
Yeah, so with that, that idea of, using more of the activator, I want, like, at the very least, like, if you're going to go that route, don't just turn into a weird Tromo monster, right? Like, do something else. Do something weirder.
I was hoping, okay, I'm not going to lie to you, and I think this would make it better. I was hoping that Sue would birth out, like, Honey Boo Boo.
Hey, Mama, it's me!
Yes!
And she shows up like that.
I need skinny and ketchup.
Or, I mean, even if it was just like, some vague, like
a child
alien
actress or something.
But
I
yeah,
don't know. I thought
like
it'd be
maybe with
funny.
like the hyper smooth, like almost like alien skin, like almost looks like a gray alien, like something like that came out, and everyone being like, oh, I'm even more in love. That would have been interesting. But it wasn't what we got. We got
No.
blood spraying at levels that Evil Dead is queasy with.
Oh my God. Don't get me started. Ugh. I mentioned earlier that the film felt very much like The Thing in its approach, right? This completely neutered it. The ending, oh my God, we can't reiterate it enough, where the tension, the drama, the scary, the horror, the body horror. And in The Thing, it's like, who is the creature? It's us. We are the creature. This is like, we are the creature, but the creature is also something completely foreign and alien, and it doesn't matter anymore. I don't know. I was very upset.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think for context, like, so I watched everything except for like 5 minutes before the point that I would have been happy with the ending, and then I like ran out of time, and so then I watched the rest of it in one go, and like I couldn't stop thinking about it, and then I watched the rest and I went, oh, dang, there's way too much of this left after it gave me the satisfying ending, and then it just kept going.
Then you worry.
The ending was like Jack Frost for just like bonkers, completely undermined the entire movie, and I was upset. I'm still upset, apparently.
I mean, I think that's fair.
I just wanted it to be more, especially with like the story that it was telling. I felt like it was so relevant, and I have some personal experience, not myself, but friends who experience body dysmorphia, and bulimia and all of this. So it's a very profound topic to me because I know people who have gone through perhaps what Elizabeth, has went through, this idealization of what is better than I am right now. And then they just took it and made it a joke. And I don't know, it was a little offensive in some way, I guess. Perhaps that's why I'm so disgruntled.
Makes sense. I had a different gripe.
Yes.
First off, whenever they gave we're going back to the beginning. Whenever she gets the substance and she gets the activator, and it says you can only use it once, yet they give her a full vial. Like, nobody would do that. No pharmaceutical company, shady or not, would do that because nobody follows the instructions on anything. Like, my vet pre-measures out my cat's medicine in syringes because she doesn't trust me to do it.
10 days on antibiotics, everyone. That was a PSA we had earlier.
And I will have you know, everybody, that Theodore recently had cat pneumonia, and I had to give him cat Levaquin for 14 days, and I had to hold him down and do it, but I did it, damn it, because antibiotic resistance is no joke.
Catmonia?
Catmonia, yeah.
But I agree to some extent. I know I'm probably cheapening your seriousness here, but I don't know. There are these deeper themes that this movie tried to execute, and then it didn't, and that's why it's frustrating. Nathaniel, give us the tea. What is the straight man's opinion?
That the pun should have been pneumonia, not cat.
That's how the vet said it.
Good. No, I think we've said everything that there's to say about it. Honestly.
Hold on. That was amazing. Again, I have to take a giggle break. You guys continue.
I mean, yeah, I don't really feel like I have anything else to add. Like, I mean, I feel like, you just have to deliver on that ending, and it didn't match its own kind of established logic. It just felt like an excuse to do something goofy and over the top. And, like, I understand that impulse. Like, who doesn't want to make an insane monster movie where you just get to dump buckets of blood on people? Like,
yeah,
like that seems like a fun time, but it just kind of feels like that could be, I don't know, it should belong in a movie where that's kind of the norm, right? When it happens in Evil Dead, it's fun and rewarding. When it happens in this, it just feels like, oh, you forgot what movie you were making like 85% of the way through.
Yeah, it makes me think of the script. At some point in that script, it went from like poignant social commentary rooted in horror to, oh, this is a monster film. And
honestly, honestly, it surprises me that the script was written by the director, because it seems like that would be the kind of thing that like a less competent director would do to someone else's script.
Well, they're never coming on the podcast now, so way to go.
We still have a chance for Margaret Qualley, though.
I agree, Nathaniel. So, I mean, I know I'm talking a lot this episode because I have a lot of feelings, I guess, about this movie, but it felt a little like Game of Thrones, where you have 6-7 seasons of really impactful storytelling, and then at the very end they're like, we don't care anymore. And so we're gonna just do whatever the fuck we want to do.
Like, well, we have this much budget left, so what's the weirdest thing we can do with that?
And us as viewers were captured by this really good storytelling, and then they just don't care at the end, and it was frustrating for Max.
That's fair. So should we rate this thing?
I think we should talk more about Jack Frost.
Words I never thought I would ever hear from Max, but here we are.
Jack Frost 3 Down Under.
Oh my god.
No, remember
Don't tease me.
No, remember Jack Frost 3 was going to be Kaiju Jack Frost.
Oh god, that's right. It can be Kaiju, but Down Under.
No,
Kaiju on the body.
Kaiju on the bayou?
Bobby. The Bobby.
I'm Jack Frost, and this is the Bobby. Oh, I will never forgive either of you for making me watch that second movie.
Yeah, see, now next time Brian releases a book, we have to find an even worse movie.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Brian, I know you're listening. I'm still mad. I gave this film, as far as crowns go, a 6. I wanted to give it higher.
Yeah, I was about to
did
say
give
it was
higher.
Yeah, it was higher earlier in our discussion.
Yeah, it was. It was like an 8, I think.
Yeah.
But when we were talking about the ending and when I was remembering everything that happened, like, again, Max is frustrated with the ending. And it really knocked it down a few pegs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so I gave it a 7, but yeah, I mean, honestly, it's probably like a maybe like a 6.8, honestly. Not that we usually get that specific, but yeah, it for me, you know, yeah, crown-wise, I really, really, really liked so much of this movie, and then
Yeah.
swing and a miss. NJ.
I feel like I'm less hateful than you two.
Oh, duh.
So...
Well, my name's MJ, and I'm better
And I have
than you.
empathy and compassion, so...
And I'm not a little bitch.
Are you giving it like a sympathy score because it only got that one Oscar and lost all of the other ones?
Oh!
Shit, yeah. It did not win, everyone.
Hey, I gave it an 8. I agree. The ending was a bit much. However, I will say that the ending still made me laugh aloud several times.
Oh, I mean, okay, that's fair. That was my reaction too.
Okay. Does laughing at a film make it good? These are crowns, people.
No.
It boosted
NJ.
my serotonin and dopamine, and that's all I ask.
Okay, sure. Go get on Wellbutrin.
I'm already on it.
Too late.
I just want us to be careful that if a movie makes us laugh, that does not make it a good movie.
I gave Jack Frost higher score than you because it made me laugh and because it pained you so much.
Fuck you.
So how scary was this movie, guys?
I give it a 5. The body horror was perfect. I do not like needles going into my lower back. That whole shit stayed with me for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's my favorite thing.
I did the 5 too. The part that got me the worst, honestly, was when Sue's teeth started falling out and she pulled them out, because I have this like recurring dream where that happens to me, and it bothers me quite a bit. And I've looked it up, and it's a control issue. Yes.
Is it you're pulling your teeth out, or your teeth just fall out?
Both. Or like I grind them out. Like I can't help myself, and I'm like grinding my teeth, and I'm probably doing it in my sleep. Ugh.
I did not need to know that.
You asked.
Yep, 5s across the board for that. Though, if we ever get the film version of NJ grinding her own teeth out, that would be a solid 6.5.
Excellent.
Maybe a 6.8.
Maybe.
How are you guys staying spooky?
Okay. I wanted to talk about 2 books that, one of them I recently finished, and the other one I am currently reading, and they are both freaking great. So the one I'm currently reading is Poe and I by Matthew Mercier. he just is delivering the goods on a really interesting story. It's loosely inspired by his own experiences living in and working in a house that Poe owned in the Bronx. And yeah, he decided to kind of take his own life experiences and make a horror novel out of it, and it's pretty rad. And then the other one I wanted to highlight that I just finished is Fever House by Keith Rawson, and that book is so rock and roll and is so fun and easily one of the my favorite horror novels of the last few years. It's just a blast.
Stephen King loved it.
Yes, he did.
NJ?
As far as my reading material, I'm reading an extreme horror book called Pain for Gain, which follows a reality TV show where people are paid money to hurt themselves, maim themselves, kind of thing. And
like self-harm?
Yeah.
In
a
good way?
I mean, these people, you're in debt and you're going to lose your house, so they go on this reality show and they win $200,000 to drill a hole through their hand or whatever.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
Send this to me. That sounds interesting.
Will do. So it's by, I'm going to butcher her name, but C. Commissar. And she does a lot of extreme horror. That I quite enjoy. So if you think that sounds interesting, you'll like a lot of her stuff. And then as far as what I'm watching, I have to also shout out reality TV. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills on Bravo. She's not a cast member, but Jennifer Tilly has been making a lot of appearances, and she has even brought Tiffany with her from The Bride of Chucky. And we can't forget, Kyle Richards is a cast member of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and she was on the original Halloween movie and also some of the newer ones. So, suck on that.
Wow. I love that.
Shut up.
No, but for real, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I like whenever little things line up. Like when my reality TV meets my other interests.
Horror.
Yeah.
I just looked up C. Commissar. The first book that came up to me.
Is it My Vagina Smells Like Sulfur?
Yes!
Yeah. I have read that.
My cookies don't know. Oh, but that I like extreme horror too. So I feel like we haven't stayed spooky in a while, guys. I read Rosemary's Baby.
Nice.
Which I read it in 2 days, which is a miracle.
Wow.
Because y'all read a book in 30 minutes, but it takes me 7 months to finish it. But this one, I don't know what it was. The prose of the book. Rosemary's Baby is one of my favorite films, and so perhaps it was that. But the book, holy cow, was perfection. Loved it. I watched a documentary the other day about Ruby Franke.
Oh, yes.
All the shit that woman is about. I mean, that's a whole other podcast that we could do. Good Lord.
I want to ask you, do you think her and that the girl that the woman that lured her away, do you think they're totally doing it? Yes. Do you think they're doing it? Because I think they are.
Okay, so I read the book written by Ruby Franke's daughter, and she confirms that after the arrest happened, she went to the house and pulled all of the electronic records from their computers, and she actually had to give that back to the police officers because her dad freaked out and said oh, she can't do that, blah blah blah, but my wife is horrible. And in her book, this is from the daughter of Ruby Franke. Ruby, if you're listening, go to hell. Yes, they were, boinking.
I know lesbianism when I see it.
It's crazy. And this documentary really kind of puts it into perspective too. They show a lot of footage that hasn't been released yet to the public. I mean, come on, ladies. You are not fooling anybody, but also go to hell because you were hurting kids. So, you know.
Yeah, they suck.
It was rough to watch, honestly. 3-hour documentary on Hulu / Disney Plus, whatever it's called nowadays. Highly recommend if you're into true crime. The horror movie that I loved was Companion. It just came out, and it while watching, it felt more like a drama, and it was very The Substance adjacent, but much more horror, much more what am I doing with my life? I'm never looking at my phone ever again because they're evil. It was very provocative. So that's how I'm staying spooky. All the things.
Okay.
This was a great time, guys. Like, honestly, I had the best time.
We got deep.
Yeah.
We giggled. We chuckled. We
guffawed.
I guffawed multiple times in my pants.
I think you're doing that wrong.
Oh no, it happened again.
Premature guffawing.
Jesus. PG. I'm so glad to be back with you both. I know if you are still listening after all of this, you need an award. But also, thank you.
Yes.
You're our target audience, guys.
And so, our lovely target audience, y'all should stay spooky.
Stay spooky.
Stay spooky. And Brian, if you're listening, Jack Frost, I will kill you.